The Test is episode 15 of season 7 of Full House. This one's directed by John Tracy, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode chronologically and share some thoughts. I think this is probably one of the most memorable episodes. I think it's very funny, but I think very beneficial as well. Starts off with Michelle, Nicky, and Alex trying to steal Joey's food. It doesn't go according to plan. It's very cute. The rest of the episode has one main narrative, and we have a tiny subplot with Michelle and safety violation week at school, but it doesn't really add too much to the narrative. The main focus is on the fact that DJ has her SATs tomorrow. And she's understandably very nervous, and Danny's concerned that she's too nervous. And I have to say, I'm not seeing that from her behaviour. I think she's the normal amount of nervous. I don't get the impression that she's spent weeks and weeks oversleeping or undersleeping in a depression because of this. I think she just has last minute nerves. It seems very natural. And Danny tells the others to remind her it's just a test, which also I don't agree with. I think and this is purely my opinion, I think there has to be a balance, which Danny does find out later on, that you need to stress the importance of it. But the main message should be, and ultimately is with the episode, that all you can do is your best. So yes, be concerned enough to care about it, but obviously don't lose sleep about it. And unfortunately, DJ didn't lose sleep because she overslept. And as I said, there are huge spoilers. I'm about to say exactly what happened later on in the episode, and then I'll discuss what happens chronologically. So big spoiler. It turns out that actually, well, she did oversleep. Danny did have to wake her up. But initially it seemed like Michelle woke her up and she had to run to school, but it was a dream. And I can't remember, as much as I really remember the episode, I can't remember at what point I realised that it was all a dream. And it could have been pretty much immediately, because the teacher is somebody she met yesterday complaining about Comet. But I feel like it probably would have been more so around the time when Joey came in, because she goes to school, she has still got her slippers on, she must have dropped her calculator, she knew the teacher, I guess the invigilator, and it's just absolute chaos. There have been changes, she doesn't have the right pencil, and it's really, really stressful. Up until that point, I could kind of believe it. But then Joey came in with, nothing very helpful for TJ, to be honest, and his Joe Pesci potato. We do get Dave Coulier doing some rather fun Joe Pesci impersonations. And then Jesse comes in with a breakfast burrito, which happens to be a walkie-talkie, and he's giving DJ the answers because he has the answer book. And then Stephanie comes in, very stereotypically French, to fix the chair, which then makes DJ slant forward, which I have to say was a nice touch. It was very effective. And it was just absolute chaos. And I have to say, it was very easy to feel that anxiety. And I think everybody who has ever sat a school exam or any kind of exam will have that thought process of, what if I'm late? What if my pen runs out of ink? What if I don't have a calculator, if it's a maths test and you're allowed to bring your own? I don't think we were... Actually, I can't remember. We might have been allowed calculators for some exams. I genuinely can't remember, but I also feel like they would have been provided for us. It's been a long time, but I feel like all of these things, maybe not the breakfast burrito, but most of this could go wrong like this, and I think it plays on a lot of our anxieties and helps to show that actually it's probably not going to work out like this, particularly because Danny and Becky then came in with Wake Up San Francisco, and they're playing a game show, and Kimmy got a perfect score on her test. So it's definitely over the top, but in a way that kind of helps to highlight that while our anxieties are real, we sometimes overcomplicate those anxieties, and instead of just being anxious about the actual test, being able to answer the questions, we start to worry about things that are realistically not likely to happen. If you forget a pen, they're gonna have pens. If your chair breaks, they're gonna fix it for you. And I think this helps to show that we can let our anxieties get away with us sometimes, and this definitely happens with DJ. And then she wakes up and is still pressed for time, but she goes there, and Danny, before she leaves, Danny told her that he was wrong to say that it's just a test. And I really appreciated that, because it kind of downplays the importance. And some tests are just a test. There are many tests at school that don't affect anything. They're just there to see how you're getting on. But with tests like these, obviously they are very significant. And Danny admitted that actually it is a really important day. But also emphasised that despite that, all she can do and all she has to do is her best, which I thought was really great. So in the end, we got that message. I was worried, and I couldn't remember exactly what the message was with this episode. And I was worried that they were going down the route of it's just a test, chill out, don't worry about it, because I think that that's a bad message. I think there needs to be a middle ground, and ultimately, Danny was able to help DJ find that middle ground. So I really enjoyed this one. It's chaotic, it's good fun, it's realistic in the sense that it reflects a lot of our own anxieties, but also not realistic in the sense that it shows us that some of those anxieties might be a little unrealistic and extreme. So I think it had a great balance there. Some great performances. Joey with his Dave Pesci Joe Pesci, Dave Coulier with his Joe Pesci impersonations, just muddling up all the names there. And we have Beverly Archer as Miss Twitchel, who I thought was fabulous. So a great episode, really enjoyed it. Definitely very memorable, a lot of fun, with ultimately some really important messages there as well.